This season is all about creating and settling into our routines, and part of our routine is creating a meal plan and balancing our plates. And here to guide us through that is Kelly of Innovative Health. Welcome back, Kelly. We love having you on.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Yes, I just realized that we started the year off with you.
Yeah.
Do you remember that with the goals and everything?
Absolutely.
So it's great to have you back as we're kind of, I'm not even going to say inching closer to 2025, but we kind of are. But this is a good time to kind of reflect on what we thought about and then kind of just still kind of go forward with the habits that we want to have. Okay. And we wanted to have you on too because we're focusing today on protein, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, or just a lot of information I know about protein, how much you should have. I've seen TikToks and videos and reels about if you want to lose this much weight, you should have this much protein, and it's just overwhelming. But I did want to start out with asking you, why is protein essential to have in our diet?
Absolutely. So protein is one of our 3 macronutrients. So we've got protein, carbohydrates, and fats. So macronutrients mean they should make up the bulk of our diet. So protein is in every single tissue in our bodies. So it's going to be in your bones, in your skin, in your hair, in your nails, in your tissues like your muscles, your tendons, your ligaments, and also your vital organs. So it's so important to make sure you're getting adequate protein in your diet.
Gotcha. So everybody's body, that's hard to say, but it's true, is different.
Yes.
So how do we know how much to include?
So there's a lot of guidelines out there, and I know there is I'm hearing too and seeing, especially I think with some of the social media influencers that are geared more towards like bodybuilding, like huge amounts of protein. So I don't think anyone needs, massive amounts of protein. It doesn't need to be, 60% of your total calories. So that is a great way to kind of look at how much protein should I have. So like, let's say you eat a 2,000 calorie diet, which would be kind of average. Some people eat a little bit less, some people a little bit more. But if you did that, you would want to get anywhere from 10% to 35% of your total calories from protein. And that is based on the recommended dietary intake information. So that's put forth by the USDA. So there's also some talk about, how many grams of protein per kilogram or per pound of body weight. And so when you are looking at it from like a dietetic perspective, we usually learned that it was 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Okay. And so it's math, right? It's like what we would do in the hospital. But you can go higher than that. It's safe to go up to 1.2 or even 1.5. Okay. Some people, especially if you are trying to lose weight, you might want to shift your macronutrient distribution ratio. In the U.S., we tend to be a little bit higher on the carb side.
What?
Yes, and a little bit lower on the protein. So I do see that with my clients. I do see that a lot of my clients are not getting enough protein and are overdoing it on the carbs. But it's not a huge adjustment. It's more like, maybe going up 10% in your protein and then lowering your carb by by 10%. So it's about getting balance. Yeah. And so eating a balanced meal is really important. So I like to tell my clients, you always want to get, a good protein source at each meal. You definitely want to get all your good non-starchy vegetables for all your phytonutrients. And then you can have a carb source too, but most of us, the biggest part of our plate is the carbs, so it's about just shifting it and making sure that you're getting a good solid protein source every meal. Yeah,
and that makes sense because I think people are sometimes intimidated by those numbers, but it is good to know that if you really wanted to kind of look into how much you need or how much you want to have, math is right there. That's why we need to know math. And when we go back into school. But you mentioned having a good protein source on that plate. So what are some of those sources for us?
So protein is obviously going to come from animal. I think we all know that, animal meat. So you've got your beef, and then you've also got your poultry. Venison also counts as red meat, and pork. And then we've got seafood. I love seafood, so all your fish and your seafood, but also there are plenty of vegetarian protein sources as well.
Yeah, let's get into that because, as you said, a lot of protein comes from meat and animals, but they don't eat those.
Yes, and also in the animal category, I didn't mention dairy products and eggs are great, really good sources. But as far as vegetarian, so I think everybody knows soy. Tofu, tempeh are made from soybeans, so soy is going to be a great source, but beans in general are wonderful sources of protein and also great sources of dietary fiber, which we are severely lacking in America. So beans are kind of a kill two birds with one stone. And then you've got nuts and seeds. So chia pudding is something that I love to make for breakfast. So it's going to be, again, high protein, high fiber. And then we've also got some grains that are high protein, like quinoa is a great one. So there's tons of vegetarian sources. The important thing for vegetarians is that you want to complement your protein. So make sure you're getting protein from a bunch of different sources to make sure you're getting all of your essential amino acids. But I love bowls. So you could do, you know, like a quinoa base, and then you could do like grilled salmon and then some grilled root veggies. I love that. I think that's a good one. But you can make a bowl with anything. I mean, you could use chicken. You could use just beans. You could make it a vegetarian bowl. You could do a smoothie bowl in the morning. So those are some easy ideas that I like to do at my house. And then again, I do chia pudding quite often in the morning. A good guideline to go by is getting 20 to 30% of your total calories from protein. And so if you're somebody that's eating a 2,000 calorie diet, that's going to be anywhere from probably like 75, 80 grams of protein up to 175 grams of protein.
Awesome. This has been absolutely amazing, and have really kind of made it a little bit easier and not as intimidating as to approach having more protein in our diet. So thank you so much for this. And of course, if people want to learn more information or get direct help from you, how is the best way to reach you?
So the best way to reach me is via my website. And so that would be Innovative Health, MI, so like Innovative Health, initials for Michigan.com.